Climate change.
Our claim is that climate change exists and it is affecting our world to this day.
So what is climate change? Climate change is a noted increase in the temperature due to the higher amounts of carbon dioxide and other emissions in the air, which can cause many other issues in the future. So this is a chart provided by NASA. It is the carbon dioxide level per years before today. You can see that the current level is much higher than any years in the past, 1950 being the highest before today. So some evidence that we have of climate change in existence is that the average global surface temperature has already increased by about 1.62 degrees since the late 1800s, but most of the damage has occurred in the last 35 years. So you can see since 2010, we have also experienced our warmest years on record, and from the 35-year point, the increase is much more drastic. Causes of climate change. A large component of global warming is attributed to a process in which the atmosphere traps heat called greenhouse effect. This is caused by the release of certain gases, namely water vapor, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, and methane. So due to advancements made in human technology and the correlated increase in the release of these gases and temperature, humans have been blamed for the exacerbation of the effects of climate change due to an increase in greenhouse gases. Energy from the sun warms the earth, and some of the heat is trapped due to the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Current effects that we have seen include warming of oceans, shrinking of ice sheets, glaciers and snow cover, sea level rise, and ocean acidification. So this is a very interesting picture that compares Glacier National Park in 1913 and 2012. As you can see, in 1913, the landform was practically covered in ice, save for a little bit of mountain, and in 2012, barely any ice and mostly just grass.
Hurricanes over the past few years, as a result of the climate changing, hurricanes have intensified, and with this it brings higher wind speeds and more precipitation. For example, Hurricane Harvey dropped more than 30 inches of rain in southeast Texas, and also leaving behind about $125 billion worth of damage. Here you can see obviously how big and how powerful that hurricane was, and over here you can see actually how much 30 inches of rain is. Greenland's ice sheet. Greenland is mostly covered by ice. In 2012, Greenland's ice sheet began to melt due to the increase in temperatures. In this year, about 55 million tons of water melted in the period of 5 days. It's important to minimize the amount of ice being melted because if all of the sheet is to be melted, the global sea level will rise about 7.2 meters higher, and with that bringing in more water to heat up, causing more hurricanes and also the loss of land. This graph just shows you the amount of ice being melted this year, and this one shows you how much of the ice is actually being melted. Right now, only the middle part of Greenland basically has ice. California wildfires. Once again, due to the increase of temperature, California has suffered through dry conditions. These dry conditions cause the vegetation to lose its moisture, making it easy for a wildfire to spark and to spread easily.
So some future effects that we could see as a result of climate change is a continued rise in temperature, of course, effects in agriculture such as the growing seasons, harvest speed, and location. So certain crops may thrive more in different locations now because they're warming, and the harvest speed may be faster or slower depending on what the crop needs when it comes to temperature or moisture. As well as growing seasons, they may become longer because if you have a crop that needs warm weather and it's more warm for more of the year, we're going to have longer growing season and more location to grow in. We will also see increased precipitation, increased droughts and heat waves, such as seen in California, increase in strength and frequency of natural disasters, as Jennifer gave us some examples, and continued sea level rise, as well as loss of ocean in the Arctic Ocean. So is it too late? There's already been a lot of damage done. So if we stopped emitting greenhouse gases today, climate change would still continue. This is because the heat-trapping gases, the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, they take a long time to dissipate. So it would be years from now before we would start seeing a decline in any of the effects. So it's definitely not too late to make a change, but some of the effects have already taken place and cannot be reversed. NASA recommends a mitigation and adaptation approach, which basically means that we should stop any further emissions and, in addition to that, adapt to any of the effects that we have already caused as a result of climate change.
Solution: what can we do to make things better? As Sammy stated, we are past the point where it could be reversed, but we could make our buildings more energy efficient so that we reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Try not to use your car as much since your cars produce carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. Walking to places or even biking can help reduce the greenhouse gas and also make your lifestyle more healthier. Change your diet. The production of our food also produces many greenhouse gases such as methane, so cut down on your beef. Stop cutting trees. Trees filter out our air. They're our lungs, and they can help slow down the climate change. Earth is on a roller coaster in a way. It keeps going up, and it's at its point where it's close to its tipping point, but unlike the fun, enjoyable drop, this drop will actually have a huge amount of effect on our population, species, and just our whole planet itself.
This chart right here just shows the contribution of greenhouse gas emissions from certain things. So electricity and heat is the highest, with agriculture being the second, methane being released from cow gas and other things like that, and the rest following.
Fake news? Believe it or not, many people still don't take climate change seriously. There are many reasons as to why someone may not believe in climate change and or global warming. Whether it is politics tied to the environment or simply conspiracies that have gained a following, many false claims have been made against the existence of human-caused climate change. Some of the claims made include the following. Humans have not caused climate change, and it is one of the many natural processes that takes place. This is false because annually the worldwide surface temperature has gradually increased over time, specifically after the large industrial boom and even faster in the past 50 years. Number 2, it isn't that hot and there is a lot of rain, so why should we be worried? We should be worried because, although temperatures may be variable, worldwide temperatures are rising and will continue to rise, putting health of the planet and of human life in danger. Also, many people view climate change as only global warming, yet climate change is exactly what it sounds like, a change in climate as a whole, along with a global rise in temperature. Number 3, no one can predict the weather and therefore cannot predict the temperature rise and its impact. This is false because it is true that no one knows exactly what will happen in the future, yet everyone in modern-day society refers to weather channels to plan their day or week. Weather models are based off scientific experiments and data, and although it may not be exact, scientists can predict basic weather patterns.
Some STEM careers that can help fight climate change include an environmental engineer, an environmental scientist, and conservation scientist. An environmental engineer helps create better ways to recycle and control air and water pollution. A bachelor's degree in environmental engineering is required. For managerial positions, a master's degree is needed as well. As an environmental scientist, you collect data such as soil, water, and air samples over a period of time and study the changes. They also study construction projects and analyze how they are impacted by climate change. These positions require a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science. Some even have a master's degree in biology, chemistry, or physics. A conservation scientist manages parks, forests, and wetlands to ensure that our natural resources are protected as much as possible from climate change. This job requires a bachelor's degree in forestry or sometimes even in agricultural science. Some not so fun facts include that models by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change predict that most of the planet's ice cover shall be gone by the end of the century. Paleoclimatology is the study of changes throughout Earth's history using evidence such as tree rings and ocean sediment. Paleoclimatologists have found that the current global warming is happening 10 times faster than the post-ice age global warming. 14 extreme weather events in 2018 caused $1 billion in rehabilitation due to damages. The average amount of people exposed to heat waves has increased by 125 million since the start of the century.
These are our references.
The relevance to our group when it comes to this project is that we are all STEM majors and we are all interested in science and we care about our planet, so we care about the environment. We chose this topic to learn more about climate change and how we can combat the negative effects by being better globally minded citizens in the future, looking out for our legacy and our future generations.
Thanks for watching!